Amish Matchmakers. This morning is men's edition, where we help you. We are the Amish Matchmakers, known as the Amish Matchmakers, where we help singles to find godly spouses, create epic marriages, and develop a legacy that is rooted in faith and freedom and, above all, love. Love is the key. So, where do we find love? That is the question this morning that we are going to walk through and work through. We started working on it yesterday, and we dealt with the mental issue, right? So, good morning to you, and thanks for joining me this morning. As you jump on, if you want to say hello, where you're out of, there's people all over the world, actually, all over the nation. But I know quite a few of you are friends, family from all over the nation. So I'm always grateful and I always love acknowledging where you're coming from. But it's a great day. It's a great day to be alive. A great day to be walking through this life of relationships, connections, business. And I hope to have an amazing, productive day today. What about you? You want to have a productive day? Yeah. Tell me where you are. Just pop it on the chat. Say, I'm from Florida. Say, I'm from Indiana. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from Arizona. I'm from the USA. No, don't say that. That's too broad. Tell me what state you're from. How about that? Or maybe if you're from Europe, what country in Europe are you from? In the US, we have states here. So if you can tell me what state you're from, that would be awesome. But cheers and good morning. Kind of let everyone jump on now. And I'm grateful that you're here. But love talk. What does that look like to have a love talk? Well, that looks like communicating. What does it look like to love talk? What does a love talk mean? What does it mean to do? Excuse me. What does it mean to fall in love? Where do we find love? That's the topic. And like I said yesterday, just as a little short review, we were talking about Florida's in the house. There we go. And away. Thanks, Jesse, for joining us. My friend, my partner, the one who made this name a reality. The Amish Matchmakers. That's where the reputation started, was with Jesse Kaufman. Okay. Ohio. It was Montana. Hey, somebody's on the Eastern Standard Time. Attaway, Andrew. Yeah. Congratulations on your engagement. I know you are going after it, work-wise, going after it, relationship-wise, going after it. As far as wedding-wise, you're engaged. Congratulations. And planning that wedding is no joke, my friend. No joke. Excited to connect with you today and talk about that a little bit more. I owe you a message, my friend. I just realized I didn't respond. It has been a whirlwind here, but a good one. Good whirlwind. Welcome to Eastern Standard Time, my friend. I'm glad you're here. But where do we find love? Single men. First of all, we dealt with mental issue yesterday. The mindset matters. It really does. I've worked with thousands of men over the years, thousands of men, thousands of couples over the years. Chantel and I have been on stages. We've been in training opportunities. We've been in presentations. We've created videos. We've created content. We've done all kinds of things. And we have had many opportunities to help people in relationships. And the number one thing you have to deal with first is right here. Between your two ears. That mind is such a powerful thing. It's either holding you back or accelerating you, right? It's either keeping you hesitating and shrinking back or causing you to move forward and press on. Good morning, Lamar. Where are you? Everyone's telling us where they're messaging from, my friend, where you're listening in from, because we got Ohio in the house, we got Florida in the house. So, good morning, Lamar. Another faithful attendee and supporter of this men's edition. Today, we're not only going to address singles and where to find love, but we're also going to address married men, or married that are engaged, men that are engaged, excuse me. And, it's kind of time to poop or get off the pot, man. Seriously, take action. Ask the woman already. So we're going to go through that. We're going to go through also married men on how to keep it epic, man. How to make it epic, even. What does that look like to empower our wives and make it epic? It's a good thing. So, Ohio in the house. Woo, we got 2 Ohios. That's a popular place. You're right. That's a good indicator. It's true, I would say, that a majority of our clientele are in the Ohio, Indiana area, up north in the United States. As again, with the reputation Amish matchmaker, and probably, I would say majority of the Amish population being up in Ohio, Indiana, and Pennsylvania, up there, Michigan area, for sure. So, welcome and thanks for being here. Okay, so married men, or men that are, where did you find your wives? How did you find them? I will tell you a great spot to find your wife, and Mr. Andrew can attest to this, is Single to Married. It is a community, online community run by Jesse and Adina Kaufman. And we had created, coached, mentored, and then created the content and helped Jesse and Adina start that community, and gave them the endorsements and still do. And we highly recommend that for all singles that are looking for the skills and strategies. We actually have a matchmaking formula in there on how to connect and how to get engaged, essentially. And so it has been an amazing journey with Jesse and Adina. But seriously, where do you find your incredible soulmate? Where do you find a relationship that can become epic? Because I will tell you, if you just go find someone off the street, it's true, you don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, you can get to know them, but some homeless guy that you meet at the gas station, or homeless girl, I should say, because we're talking to the men, um, is not a very good choice just out of the blue. Be a good experiment, but not what we recommend. And I think that is funny that most people actually think that's the kind of thing we recommend when we say, hey, we're going to help you get engaged in less than 90 days. They're like, oh, complete stranger. That's a mess, because I've had so many comments that people are like, or actually, I should say 12 weeks. We've shifted it to the understanding of 12 weeks instead of 90 days. But a 12-week year is what we talk about. So we're going to help you get engaged in less than 12 weeks. And everyone's like, but he could be, know, some psycho person. He or she could be. Anyways, point being is that um, typically when we help people get engaged that quickly, it's someone they already know, someone they've been friends with many years potentially. That's been the case for a lot of them. Or, they've been already communicating, but now when we get involved, it's like, all right, let's set the clock and let's go to work, and help them to get laser focused, help them to accelerate the process of connection and communication, getting to know each other intimately in a great way. Of, I will tell you that the strategy and the formula that we've created together, Jesse and Adina and Chantel and I, is proprietary, but it's powerful, and it accelerates the speed of getting to know someone like 10x, 100x. Like, seriously, there are some things that we have, the people that we work with have conversations with each other that married couples that have been married for several years have never done. So again, it's interesting how quickly we can help people to get engaged, but it's just because we're progressing, and because they have support, they have, professional help to keep them moving along. Thus the title, Amish Matchmakers. Your mind determines the actions you're willing to take or avoid. 100%. Oh yeah, I forgot to show some of these. It's all good to show this Florida in the house. Like I said, Ohio was in Montana, but now he's in Ohio. Andrew, good job. Mr. Lamar, Ohio in the house again. And back to the comment about the mind, which is 100% true. Thank you, men, for being here and commenting. It does make a difference when you comment. It does make a difference, too, for you to take time and subscribe to our YouTube channel or to follow us on Facebook. It does matter. I promise. It makes a difference. So Jesse says, I hear a lot. What if he or she is a narcissist? That's the word. Thank you, Jesse. My brain wouldn't allow me to think of that word, but yes. They say those hide well. Yep. That's a big one. But, hey, try it. Let's see what happens. Oh, my goodness. It's all good. We hear that a lot. But like I said, it is real. But so my number one choice on the planet, seriously, is single to married. Single, the number two, married on school.com. Why? Well, partly because we help them and we gave them the content to utilize. Jesse and Indiana Kaufman, we know them. We still work with them. They're trusted people. We're still creating better and better strategies and improving the things that we do there to help increase and improve the process. When you're working on something so intensely like that, it gets better. It continues to get better, and they are doing amazing. They just had an event last week where how do you find the one? And it is true. It's kind of like what we're talking about. Where do you find the one is what we're talking about this week. And I will challenge you. Where do you find them? And are you out there? I know we had some comments yesterday about, hey, people at work don't want me talking to them and aren't interested in a relationship, and it's not the place to look for. And there was one young man on here talking about college that, he's not there to find a girl in college. They're not there to find a husband. So I want to honor them and respect them. And my comment to that was relationships, though. It's tied to, we talked about the mentality, confidence, communication, commitment. You want successful relationships on all levels, whether you're single, engaged, or married. All three levels, you want to improve your relationship skills, confidence, communication, commitment. We call them the 3 C's of love, the 3 C's of intimacy. You'll want deeper, more meaningful relationships. Do those things. Learn the skills of the 3 C's. Seriously. So, first place is your mind, though. And you have to understand, if you're a believer like I am, the word of God says, for I have not given you the spirit of what? Fear, but of what? What does he give you instead? Dunamis is the word there, which is super awesome. The original word, which is power. It's translated to power, but it can also be translated, if you go do a deep dive on what you see, how you see yourself, the identity that you carry will create dunamis. How do I know that? Well, because and your actions and your skills will create dunamis. How do I know that? Because literally the when Jesus was giving the parable of the talents, he said that the young rich ruler gave the men talents to invest according to their what? Dunamis. Crazy, right? According to, we could call confidence. So God has given you confidence. He's not giving you the spirit of fear, but confidence. And he's given you love. And he's given you sound mind, as it's translated, but it's okay to talk about it and understand the definitions is self-control. Sound mind is self-control, self-discipline, mastering those emotions. Fear is really an emotion. It's not a real tangible thing. It's something that holds us back, something that causes us to shrink back. And by the way, that fear, when defined and broken down, is literally shrinking back. He's not giving you the spirit to shrink back. He's not endorsing you to shrink back. He's telling you to shine. Be shining conquerors. Woo! Let's go. Alexander the Great did not shrink back. Alexander the Great was a young man just like you in his 20s that literally conquered more land in his young age than anybody else in history. And you know that they say that he knew 1,000 names. He knew 1,000 of his warriors' names. He knew them by name. Crazy fun fact, right? So obviously he knew relationship. And that's one of the things about building relationship. We've talked about communicating, forming, asking questions, but also knowing someone's name. Their name matters. How many people's names do you know? Seriously, how many? How do you remember names? Woo, that's a tough one for me, I'll admit. I'm getting better at it. And I've had so many mentors that help me with memory skills, and they're awesome. That's not our topic today. But hey, welcome. Says, oh, yes, I like to show comments. If you're going to make them, I'll show them, unless they're just silly. Then I'll delete your comments. True pathological narcissists don't join or stay in single to married. They don't submit to following directions. Very true. They don't like the following directions. I agree, Jesse Kaufman. Good stuff. What's up? Plank Mills. Mr. Caleb, good morning to you. And you're actually out of where? Give us a shout out of where you're messaging in from. I caught you this morning driving to a job super early. Yeah, brother. Glad you're here, man. That's an hour difference for you. So it's like 4 in the morning, right? Because I think you're in a different time zone. Where are you messaging in from? I guess you're driving, so be safe. If you're at a stop sign, you can message in. But your chat, your comments matter, each and every one of you. And please, again, subscribe to the channel. It helps. More people will see it if you subscribe. More people will see this feed right now on this video if you're making comments. So it's really awesome. And thanks for being here. Thanks for the love and support. All right. So back to topic. We're talking about like the confidence, communication, commitment piece. Like it's mentality. And you're not called to shrink back, but to shine. Be shining conquerors. And literally when we had our last event, Epic Intensive here at our ranch, which we have another one coming up on the 29th. Hello, 29th of January. Super pumped about that. Thursday, the 29th. If you're interested, hit me up. Message me. I'll give you some more information. See if you qualify to come out to our Epic Intensive, where we develop people, and we're going to help you to develop the skills to mastery levels, what we're looking for, what we're targeting, that you may have epic marriages and epic legacy and children. And it's powerful. I actually, I love saying this, and I'm very blessed and grateful. I have 2 children that I did not contribute to, in the sense of I am not their dad. I'm Uncle Carlos. They have very amazing fathers, but I'm named after 2 young men on this planet. Or I'm not named after them. They're named after me, Carlos Campos. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have a couple young men named after me. Again, that they say that that's the impact and influence I had on their lives, helping them to get better in skills and relationship, helping them to mentoring them in relationship, mentoring them in life, mentoring them in connection, mentoring them in business. And they were so impacted and blessed that they named their son after me. 2 different couples, 2 different families. So super grateful for that, and blessed. And again, I couldn't do it alone. It was because of Chantel as well. It was us working as a team. And we'll get into that in a minute with talking about couples and marriage. But it is just a thing, I want to talk about, because, there's results, there's fruit. And sometimes we don't talk about our fruit enough. You need to hear about it, because again, who's in front of you talking right now? What right do I have to tell you anything? Well, I've been doing this quite a while. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Mexico, celebrating our 11th year of supporting those boys, those orphans there, young men. And I had a call with them Saturday. I made an agreement that every Saturday I'm going to call and check up on them and talk to 2 or 3 of the young men and encourage them and check in and make sure they're going after their dreams and goals, and checking up with Lupe and Choyita, the parents there, and making sure that they are funded and things are going well and cash flow is coming in. We created a subscription model now to where every month you can donate. You can hit the subscription button for them to donate from $20 all the way up to $1,000. And every month it'll draft it out of your bank account for you or your card or whatever choice you use to pay for it through PayPal. No middleman, directly to that orphanage. Very proud of that as well. Got that set up yesterday. Boom! That was a huge accomplishment. Huge, because again, if you're like me, you put everything on auto pay. I do. And I just go to work and I don't have to worry about the bills. I check on them, make sure, when things come out of my account, I'm like, okay, that's for this, this, and this, right? Everything's on auto pay. And I love that. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 months and I haven't sent any funds or any support or paid out for this or that. So if it's not on auto pay, I'm telling you, sometimes time flies by. So I love having things on auto pay. And that's what we got set up for this orphanage so that they can have consistent pay every month, every month, every month, that you can just subscribe for $20 and every month it'll draft $20 out of your bank account or whatever card you allocate, $50, $100, 250, I think, and then we have 500 and 1,000. We have like 5 categories or 6 categories. Can't remember. Anyways, if you want that link, I can give it to you. But that's a proud accomplishment to get that done. Every step we're improving, every step we're helping. And why do I say that? Because I'm trying to tell you about who I am. I'm trying to tell you what makes me real, where my heart is. Nathan Kinsinger went to Mexico with me. The Jabo and Christina Miller went to Mexico with us, and of course, Little Destiny, beautiful Little Destiny. Ah, I love that girl, and got to see us around the orphans, Chantel and I. Chantel didn't go this year, again, staying home with mom since dad passed this year, and being with mom and Hazel since Hazel's pregnant with child. Proud grandfather to be. No, I am a proud grandfather already because baby Kayla is alive and well and doing well in the belly of Hazel. And I'm excited for her to come on this side, but we'll wait till she's full term. But everything's going good there. But anyway, sorry, squirrel. Point being is that you need to know the person who's in front of you talking to you. Why should you listen to me? I'm just some stranger on YouTube you came across. Well, there is a track record here. Matter of fact, the Del Rios, who I got to see, and they're coming to see us on the 22nd. Countdown, baby. Countdown, countdown, countdown. What is the date today? The 13th. 9 more days. The Del Rio, it used to be Del Rio Trio. Now it's the Del Rio Quadruple. 4 boys that were all birthed by Brandy Del Rio. And Rogelio is the daddy. And I will tell you, those boys are fantastic. You've got Xander, who's the oldest. You've got Ezekiel and Elijah, who are twins. And it's Ezekiel Carlos Campos Del Rio. Okay, that's one of the boys that is his middle name is because Hispanic people do that. We do. We do that. We name, we have a double middle name. My double middle name would be Carlos Ramon Martin. It's Ramon Martin. Campos the second. Martin is not on my birth certificate, but it is. I'm named after my father, Carlos Ramon Martin Campos the second, my late father who passed away when I was 19. But anyways, so Mr. Ezekiel Carlos Campos Del Rio is his name, and then Elijah, the 2 twins, and then we have precious little David, little David, and he is so sweet. So the 4 boys, the quadruple Del Rio quadruple, are coming to visit with Brandy, with their mama. And I will tell you the reason why they chose to name Ezekiel after me, one of their boys, is because of the impact of us, Chantel and I, helping them to get married. Brandy and Rogelio. They were single. They were living with us both at one time, and we were mentoring them and helping them along in business and life and relationship. And we helped them to get through their fears. Matter of fact, Brandy just sent us the coolest message. She was thinking back, it was 11 years ago to this time, around this time, it was a couple weeks ago. And she was just in tears, like remembering that this was when you believed in me and you came and picked me up and took me to an event and a spiritual event. It was a retreat that we went to with Brandy, and she attended with us. And yeah, it was awesome. And she said, man, that's where my life changed and transformed. And from then, she went on a pathway to then connecting with Rogelio. They got married, and they have 4 boys now because of our willingness to help them get through the junk. And I will tell you that is our on record, our fastest engagement in marriage in history. Now you're going to really think this is crazy. Talk about narcissism, Jesse, and how fast this happened. So, little quick story, because again, credibility, stories. You like stories? So they had known of each other. It's so interesting. Both of them lived with us, but never even talked to each other. Rogelio was staying in our garage. Brandy was staying in the upstairs in our home that we had. And yeah, this would have been about 11 years ago. And so, anyways, they never spoke to each other. Matter of fact, they were referred to each other. They would see each other in passing. And Rogelio would say, "Oh, that's that girl that never stops talking, right?" she is a she is a very powerful woman. Amazing, kind of like me, verbal processor. And then Brandy would say about Rogelio, she would say, "Oh, that's that guy that never talks." And Ryan Rogelio is a deep thinker, and he's more of a quiet man. He's a lot more talkative now. That's so true. That's that girl that never stops talking. Oh, that's that guy that never talks. It's funny how they saw each other and thought of each other, but again, never really built a relationship. Never had really any conversations. They both moved out, and then they then a few months later reconnected at an event, because again, we were like parents to them. They lived with us, so they come back to an event that we were going to. It was actually a Danny Johnson event, so we took them to another event. They met back up with us. I'll never forget this, because we had a room, at those events, like, you share rooms, and people would all bunk up in rooms to save money at events. It's just a thing, whatever. And so Chantel and I had rented a hotel room with two queens, and we stayed in one bed, and then Hazel and Brandy stayed in another bed, and Rogelio slept on the floor in there. And they actually finally connected and started communicating as friends. And actually, they saw each other's brother and sister because of the fact that they knew each other from us, and like they were like, again, mentoring them and helping them. They're adults, they're full grown adults, not like they're kids, but to us, we loved them like spiritual kids in the beginning, and then now they're like our peers and our one of our dearest friends, or family, for real family. Like, when I say family, they're awesome. Like, so many different ways we've been together, and so many different things over the years, supporting the orphanage together. They are by far one of the greatest supporters, consistently, of the orphanage, of all people we've ever worked with, all people we have ever introduced to the orphanage. They have been faithful and true over the years. I love hearing that from Lupe and Choita. So very incredible, consistent givers and lovers of that orphanage there, and have done so much, worked on roofs and buildings with us. Lots of cool stories with the Del Rios. And so, anyways, telling Brandy and Rogelio's story. So they started just connecting and hanging out as like brother and sister, because again, they both worked with us, lived with us, and now they're coming back together and getting to know each other, meeting again, but they're both in different places, right? But so now they're like, hey, we could support each other, realize that, they have each other's strengths and complement each other in that way. And they start just connecting as friends, brother and sister, like I said, seriously, become really, really good friends. Talk to each other. Here's the funny part: start talking to each other about each other's relationships that they were having, challenges, right? Like a brother and sister would, this girl I'm dating, and Riley would say, and then Brandon would say, well, this guy I'm dating, and they were talking about this stuff, and we're just kind of like, cool, this is great. It's good to have support, good to have people to talk to. Okay, so there's no relationship yet, and they keep connecting and keep communicating, and now a few days, few weeks go by, a few months, they're really connecting like best friends, and really just becoming good friends. Um, we help them through the process of continuing to connect in a beneficial way, and they're communicating, they're asking questions, they're developing this friendship, and become like best friends. Um, Telling each other, like giving each other advice, reading the word together. It's really powerful to see their progression. So, anyways, I'll never forget. We're there with Brandy one night. Chantel and I late. She again, they weren't living with us at this time, but she had come back to visit, and was actually coming to hang out with Rogelio too, because they become such good friends. There was literally no like, oh, we're dating or anything yet. But Brandy's like, I'm starting to develop feelings or something. This is crazy. We're like brother and sister, but I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't think he was my type, but he's got tattoos and stuff. And so, anyways, we walk her through some stuff. Then this one evening, and then they were going to go to the beach the next day and hang out, Rogelio and Brandy. And same thing with Rogelio. He and I had started talking, and Chantel talking to him too. And he's like, something's going on here. And so he made the decision, you know what? When we go to the beach, heck, I think I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Now, literally, so it went from 0 to they've built this friendship. They were friends, best friends, right? Seriously, like brother and sister. But they went from 0 now to he's like, I'm gonna ask her out and just ask her to marry me. Like, hadn't gone on a date. This would be the first time they've hung out at the beach and like just hanging out and make it official like date. He's like, he got in a ring. Like, it's a long story, but kind of prepping for this and like, oh my gosh, I guess I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I guess this is a woman I want to have a relationship. So weird. They were really torn with these emotions. And so then they go to the beach and they hang out, and he's like, they make it official. They hold hands, I think it was. I still don't think they had even kissed, to be honest. No, they didn't. I think they held hands at the beach, and it was an official date. First one ever. Well, he was supposed to ask her to marry him. And literally, it happens. We were just talking about this when I was there. This is why it's so fresh. We got to find the video because I'm always videoing things. And I videoed me encouraging Rogelio. So he didn't ask her. He was intimidated by her still. And he had the ring, but he didn't ask her at the beach. So we meet up to go to dinner after their date on the beach. The four of us, double date that night. And Brandy and Chantel walk inside the restaurant and in front of Rogelio and I. And we kind of get slowly out of the car and we're talking. I'm like, well, how'd it go? He's like, dude, I didn't do it. I'm like, what? Rogelio, what's going on, man? You got this. Come on. And I literally get it on video. I'm like, we're going to video this. You're going to do it right now. He's like, what? I'm like, yes, you got what it takes. Come on. Come on. You got. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm like beating my chest. I'm videoing me and videoing him. We're about to walk into this restaurant. Rogelio is going to ask Brandy to marry him. And I'm like all into it. I'm like, come on, Rogelio, you got what it takes. Your unborn children are waiting for you to ask her. Like, I said this to him, y'all. Said this. And he's like, okay, I can do it. You got this. And he's like, he walks in, and I'm videoing with my phone. He walks in and immediately gets on his knee. And Brandy goes, what? Here? Now? At a restaurant. And Chantel's like, boom, elbows her because she's sitting next to her. And Brandy like snaps out of it and says, oh, yes, I will marry you. And the whole restaurant erupts and everyone claps. Okay. So they have their first date that morning. They get engaged that night. Guess what? We are famous for, what are you waiting for? They both, Rogelio had already, he'd never been married, neither had Brandy, but both of them been in relationships where, well, Rogelio had actually 3 boys that he contributed to before, one older son with another woman and 2 boys with another woman. And then he had fathered. So he literally had 5 kids already. Rogelio did. So again, with 2 different women. And like I said, 3 of them, he's biological father for. 2, he is daddy to, and not the biological father, but he is the father. You know what I mean by that? He raised them. So he had 5 children already. So it's not like they were not experienced with relationship and intimacy and stuff, right? Do you know what I mean? Brandy had boyfriends. It's real. She's told her story, and so she had lived with a guy at one point or something. Like, so she had other relationships too, right? This wasn't new to them, and so it was like they built the friendship all the way along. They literally got dated and engaged in the same day. So we're like, all right, let's do this. And they're like, okay, let's do this. Let's get married then. And guess what? The next day, within 24 hours, we had a wedding on the beach for them. They called their parents. And then Marlise, my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, Chantel's biological mother, Marlise Engemeyer, and Phil was there as well. But Marlise officiated the wedding. She was ordained minister, still is, and officiated the wedding on the beach in California. It was amazing. So why do I tell you this story? Because results matter. Stories matter. Fruit matters. And that was 11 years ago. It's one of our first matchmaking situations. And they now have 4 beautiful boys. I wasn't lying when I said that to Rogelio. And I'm not lying when I say it to you. If you're single, there are unborn children waiting for you to make a decision, to go for it. Take action. Stop making excuses. Stop shrinking back and go pursue that beautiful woman that you want to marry. Or go make yourself out there in public. Go find you a beautiful woman. Okay? Seriously. You're worthy of having children. You're worthy of having a family and legacy, but it starts with the action of going to connect and build relationships, build friendships. Just like Rogelio and Brandy, they weren't interested in a relationship with each other. They just had a good, amazing, beneficial relationship of connection, not not intimacy, just good friendship. Again, I understand dating is beneficial. I understand the world of dating out there. It's a crazy world, okay? It's tough to navigate through. However, I want you to understand that it is important for you to take action. It's important for you to get out there and in the playing field, as they say. You got to play the game. It's not a game, but I'm saying like it's life. It's called the game of life, right? But you got to be willing to put me in, coach. Say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And it is a decision. It is to be like, okay. And so with Rogelio, it was like, then they got married, and then was the journey of working on this. And then Xander came along, which was awesome. And then I'll never forget again, Elijah and Ezekiel. And I'm this is an amazing story too. Like Rogelio and Brandy called us and said, "Hey, Brandy's going into labor." We all lived in California at the time, and best friends, hanging out all the time. Dinners together. They had their apartment. We had our. They actually lived with us for a season again, learning the marriage mastery skills and doing Epic 30 with us, and the whole connection strategies that we have, and and then launched off into their own. But now she was pregnant with Ezekiel and Elijah, twins. Brandy was, and it was time. Babies were here. The twins were here, and I'll never forget when we went to the hospital to be there for the birth, to support Brandy and Rogelio because they lived in California and so did we at the time. I'll never forget. Rogelio's kind of a jokester. He's a little sarcastic at times and fun guy. But we're there at the end, and he goes, "Hey, I want you to meet Ezekiel Carlos Campos. I named him after you." And I seriously, because he's so sarcasm all the time, I thought he was joking. So I started laughing. I'm like, "That's funny, dude." And he's looking at me. All of a sudden, he gets serious. He's like, "No, I really did name. We decided to name him after you." And I lost it, man. It's a huge honor. Huge honor. I still get emotional about it. I love children. And I never was blessed with biological child, and that's okay because I have fathered many people, many children, and I secretly want the children to succeed. That's why I help the parents. They say that things that you've been through in your childhood, trauma, whatever you've been through, and for me it was a lot of things, but one of the main thing would be again, it wasn't true, but it was what I felt as a young child that I was abandoned. Um, but again, a whole nother story around that. But you always feel like, I think if we recognize our trauma and recognize what we went through as children in our formative years, we will then rescue ourselves over and over and over. And so in that moment, it was honoring me by naming Ezekiel after me. And I was super grateful for that. In that moment, I was just like blown away, and I was very, very emotional. I still get emotional about it when I think about it, just because the honor and the love that took for Heather and Brandy to choose to do that. So I'm grateful they're finally coming to see our ranch. They gave us a cutting board that said Peculiar Sanctuary Ranch 2020 was established 2020. And yet they haven't been here yet. We've lived here 5 years and they've never been here. So interesting how that's happened. And they've been developing a multi-million-dollar company in California. That's super awesome. They are amazing, amazing power couple. Accelerating in such a powerful way with their businesses and giving. They were in Nicaragua this year, giving and supporting families and people in need, the poor, the orphans there in Nicaragua. Traveled there and took their boys with them. Amazing, amazing couple. That's powerful to take 4 young boys like that are all under the age of 10. I think Xander's 9 or 8, 8, I think he is. See, I should know these things. But they're coming up on the 22nd to our ranch and going to spend the weekend with us. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I love hanging out with those boys. While I was there, I got to read to them and play with them. And they're a ball of energy. Tons of energy. 4 boys. Oh my goodness. Del Rio boys. Oh my goodness. And they are warriors. They are warriors. So, anyways, why do I say that? I tell that story again because I know a few things and been doing this a while, helping a lot of people to find love, make it epic. And has it been easy for Rogelio and Brandy? No, they've had their challenges. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they've had their challenges, their fights, their ups and downs, their arguments, right? And so is Chantel and I. So I don't know if I've ever given you an impression that everything Chantel and I do is perfect. No, it's epic. It's epic. But we've had some serious conflict. Conflict resolution is a very powerful tool. We've learned to navigate through the hard things. We've learned to go through dark times together. We've had some amazingly harmful, amazingly hurtful trauma and betrayals. And yeah, and yet we have skills and strategies to become better through it all. Epic. Tennessee in the house. There we go. Thanks, Tennessee, for making a comment. There he is. Good morning, y'all. Just making some comments here. Clicking on true. Being teachable and coachable is a huge thing that a woman wants. Come on, bro. Shout it from the rooftop. You know you're engaged now. Such an honor, and you are worthy. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Pennsylvania in the house. There we go. Check it out. Wow. All kinds of people from all over the nation. I'm honored and blessed you guys would support me in this men's edition. And it's a longer version this morning. On Tuesdays, I got a little bit more time. So I take it and I share with you more stories and I share with you results and share with you from my heart. And so the Del Rio boys, we'll have to get some videos and pictures. They are a hoot. I have some really cool ones when I was there with them. We were reading together and stuff. Anyways, okay. So now back to single men. Where do you find? Well, we talked about single to married is my number one endorsement. However, are you, if you're in college, are you getting to know the people around you? You have some lady friends? Are you actively going to even singles events? There are singles events. I would say probably every other church has events or groups for singles. Every other church. So if you go find a legitimate church that's growing and developing, again, biblically based Christian church, you're probably going to find a singles group. So, hello, why not? Look, you can find singles and people out. I know one of our clients is doing dance lessons. And I told her, hey, go to the night when they're all dancing and practicing. See if you can find some singles, or if it's all just couples. If it's all just couples, we may want to go find a singles group. But I said, hey, get out there, get involved in your community, get involved connecting with people in your church, connecting with people, get referrals like yours. How do you find love? You got to go connect with people. How do you connect with people? You get over the mindset first. You don't shrink back. You shine. You go out there and you got to be active, but not just reactive, proactive. That means designing your life, setting aside time, being purposeful. Ask Jesse Kaufman. Oh my goodness. Super awesome. What a great story. We got loads of them. But I'm telling you, when a man makes a decision, there is no stopping him. Eli, Eli and Ina, powerful story. Eli was like, when he finally made the decision, he was all in. It became like a full-time job for him. And he says, Carlos, we're doing this now. Let's go. And it was quick, bro. Quick. I mentored him and push. Yes, my heart is to help people. And sometimes I got to push them and piss them off even beyond their own capacity because I love them enough to say, you're better than this. You got better skills. You got more in you. Go. Let's go. Right? When they can't believe in themselves, I help them believe that they can be married. Just like I did with Rogelio. I've been doing it for years. I mean, that was 11 years ago. Hello. I haven't changed. I've probably got stronger at it and probably get better at pushing people past their own capacity and their own belief system. You've got what it takes, man. But you first got to believe, and then you've got to be willing to take action. Your belief system is proven by your actions. If you lack actions, here's the reality. It's because you actually don't believe. Okay? Mike Trauber, your actions prove your belief system. So I can tell because you're not taking action and going out there and meeting people and going out there and connecting and going out there and finding out who's available, getting to know people, connecting, practicing those skills of communication, right? Forming, asking questions, learning more about them, eye contact, smile, entering the room, getting to know everyone, being the one to greet people, being the one that shines in the room. Look, seriously, if you do these things, and you start meeting people and connecting people and getting to know them and know their name, go out to coffee, hang out, build relationships and friendships. That's good. That's healthy. Good morning, Sheila. Thanks for being here. I believe I'm awesome. Good. I'm glad you believe you're awesome, brother. Well done. And I believe you are too. If you believe you're awesome, hopefully you believe you in getting married, and hopefully you are married. If you're not, hey, time to take action on your awesomeness, okay? You're awesome. Time to take action. So, where to find love? You heard my number one recommendation. Secondary is, where are common places that you feel comfortable? In this one case, where going to dance lessons, great. Might be single people there, but the reality is you got to go out and take action. Go do something to be active in public, to be active where people are. Church, if you're younger, youth group, college age events. Again, don't be the guy that's like creepy, that's creeping up on women and stuff. Be the guy that is a friend, the guy that is friendly, smiling, good communicator, ask great questions, genuinely interested in that woman. What kind of questions? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Go watch that recording. But form, family, occupation, recreation, message. If you want, I can send you the video that my daughter and I made when she was 4 years old. That would be, she's 17 now, so that would be 13 years ago, where literally we talked about form, family, occupation, recreation, message, family, occupation, recreation, message, asking questions on to get to know people, genuinely being interested, saying, tell me more about that when they answer some of your questions. And wow, okay, learning more about them, gathering their sign so that then you can speak life over them. And going through our process, getting to know someone, through feldspar, finding out their dreams, finding out their goals. Look, people, that's what I'm talking about when I say our stuff is so advanced, and our marriage mastery formula and our um, matchmaking formulas are so advanced that some of the things that you go through when we have you learn to get to know each other and ask questions to each other to find out each other's missions and find out each other's visions and your peculiar, your MVP, as we talk about, is way more than advanced than some couples that have been married for 50, 60 years. How do I know? Because I've interviewed some of those couples and asked them what they know about each other and what are each other's dreams. And some of them don't even know what each other's dreams are, even though they've been married for so many years. They never asked that question. So often people are like, wow, how can you get engaged so quickly? It's because we advance you and accelerate you by customizing the mentorship for you and where you're at, helping you get over your mental fears, keep you from shrinking back, help you to be confident and courageous, and ask good questions to get to know someone so that, yeah, you can really know who they are on the inside in a good way. So, all right, there we go. There we go. He says women come out to me usually. That's awesome. He says pickleball and Bible studies. There you go. Good stuff. All right. That's awesome. Why have one wife when clearly the Bible says man can and should have multiple wives? Well, you know what, Mr. Ghost Samurai, I don't agree with you. That was the old school ways, but I'll post your comment anyways. I don't agree with that, but hey, everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? And maybe you're just being sarcastic and funny. Okay, maybe you're not married at all. My grandfather had multiple wives. Okay, maybe you were a religion that does that, Mormon or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, I'm posting your comments anyways. Hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? I don't agree with it. I think that is definitely going back to the old way of thinking where women are just, they are not valued and women are not seen as equal. So you should just have multiple of them. And back in those days, that is true, that they were not seen as equal. They were not seen as worthy of yoking up to and developing relationship or developing businesses together and developing a legacy together. It was the man. And I don't agree with that. And so, again, we've talked about several ways. And by the way, you can meet your wife even out at parties, out at dinner, relationships, double dates, connections, blind dates. There's so many different options of ways that you can meet your potential wife. The bottom line is you got to go out and be in public and connecting with people consistently. Consistently, you hear me? Going to church, but not just going to church and filling a pew. Consistently meeting people, consistently asking, hey, it's who's the singles group here? Is there a singles group, or do they have meetups, or who do you know that's single? Right? You can ask that question. Be bold. That's the art of pursuit, man. Come on. And then if you're engaged, I said we were going to talk about this a little bit. What's holding you back? Well, I've got to have this, and this together. I've got to have enough money for, the wedding and getting her house and all this stuff. Like, men, look, that's not what it's about. It's not about that. It's not about you having enough money to ask her to marry you. You're engaged or you've been dating for how many months, how many years, and what are you waiting for? See, the crazy thing is once you get engaged, then you start working on that life together and creating what you want together. So many men think, well, I got to get a house. I'm going to do this and this and this. And they have this checklist before I can even ask her to marry me. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not what she requires. I promise you. She wants your commitment. She wants your love. She wants to partner with you and know that she can contribute to this too. And by the way, they find their identity in their homes most of the time and nesting children, home, and like developing the home. So why do you think you need to find a home first? And then maybe she don't like that home. It's so much better if you get engaged and then work on that together. And then even get married and start building that out together. What you want to have, where you want to live, what the house is going to be like, creating that dream and that goal and going in after it together. It's so good. So stop hesitating. You don't have a ring? Okay. Look, it's okay if you don't have a ring. You can still ask her to marry you. What's stopping you? Then you can work on it together. Does she even want a ring? Some cultures don't even do rings. So hey, but the reality is, are you willing to go to the next level with your commitment? Go steady with her first, maybe. A level of commitment of saying, okay, I want to, will you marry me? Right. And get engaged and set the date for a wedding. Like that's levels of commitment. Man, bam, bam, bam. Man, you got what it takes. You got to be confident and courageous and take that step. Develop that relationship, develop the skills of connection, and then take it to the next level of commitment. I know you're afraid of being committed because of what you saw your parents went through. You went through it too. You saw the divorce, you saw the fights, you saw that they were not happy, and that is not what you want. And I don't blame you. I'm in agreement. If it's not going to be epic, I don't want it either. I want to create it, but you got to create it. I created it. You can create it. And we create it with the Father, Papa God. That's what I believe is the best way, the best scenario is learning and applying his word, the Bible. Yes, Torah, the canon, the Bible, Old and New Testament. It's powerful. So apply it, work it, and then guess what? You can have an epic wife. And by the way, a modern epic wife is worthy of yoking with you and can be as excited and intimate and wanting it as much as you do and can enjoy intimacy as much as you do because that's part of even in the old school was having multiple children, multiple wives and concubines. Again, I've read the stories and there is an understanding of what that creates in the lion. However, man of one wife. That's what the word says. That was what God designed us for. He didn't have Adam and then Eve and Betty and Jenny and Tabitha and Tammy and Bertha and whatever, multiple wives. He had Adam and Eve, male, female. Okay, so that's my belief. That's my understanding. I know there were multiple wives of King David and Solomon, and I think there's something we can learn from that. That is important for a man to have lots of intimacy. I'm going to say that word, right? Lots of intimacy and intercourse, and you can't say the S word because then they algorithms are shut down or whatever. But there is a lot of that with King David and King Solomon, and I do believe in that. I think that's very important that you are very active if you're married. I do believe in marriage and that you do it within the confines of marriage and that you only do it with one woman, your wife. But that, yes, you should be pursuing her and constantly going after that woman in a very passionate, powerful way. And she will love it and she will respond. And the women of our time, the women of our time are very powerful and strong and they know who they are. They are warriors. They are able and willing to go strong with you. That's why you can yoke up together. It's about doing the work together. And so, how can you empower your wife? This is where I want to get to for married men. I'll end with this nugget, okay? Because our time is up, and then I'll answer some comments and questions here. So, if you got them, put them on there. But if you are married and you want epic, you need to learn to empower your bride. Seriously, it's an important principle. I did a video last night, and I actually posted it here on YouTube. You should go check it out about empowering our wives. A whole I think 30 or 45 minutes session on it. The benefits, the power of empowering our wives. Are you willing to learn from your wife? Are you willing to honor her in public and let people know that she is your business partner? She is your mentor and you've learned this, this, and this from her. My wife is incredible. She wrote a lot of our content. She wrote a lot of our strategies and systems. She's taught me strategies and systems. She is by far one of the, or excuse me, let me rephrase it. She is the best mentor on the planet for wives and mothers and business owners on the planet, y'all. Those three categories, she is incredible. Wives, mothers, business owners. As a female, she is super incredible. CEO of our company, multiple companies, co-CEO with me. We are yoked together in our marriage. We are yoked together in our finances. We are yoked together in our relationships, and we are yoked together in our raising our children. We are yoked together in ministering in church and things that we do. We are yoked together in all areas of our life. And guess what? God has accelerated all those areas. But you need to empower your wives. You want epic? Empower them. Don't be intimidated by their strengths and their things that they are better than you at. Empower them. Acknowledge that and help others to be aware of that about your wife. Are you willing to do that? That's where there is in, and are you willing to, so like it's so interesting too. Cheers, drink them if you got them. Pause. One other thing I want you to hear, man, if you're married. One final thing. Are you willing to do the work in the sense of shared work? Change the diapers, cook the meals. And you're like, well, that's what women are for. No, they're not. Yes, I love my wife that she's a great cook, but I can cook too and I can help out. Last night I made dinner. She was finishing up with her women's call. I got done with the men's call. My stuff was downloaded on my computer. She was uploading, doing stuff. And so I decided I'm going to make dinner for us. Yeah, it was late, but I cooked us some food and had it ready for her when she came down from her women's call. And had that ready for her. We took down the tree and put stuff away together, and I did the work right alongside her. It's same work. And I'm willing to cook. I'm willing to change diapers. I help potty train Hazel, and I'm willing to do the housework, do laundry, whatever it takes. Because guess what? We are co-laboring together. She is a co-CEO for companies that we own and we are partnered in. She is an amazing woman. If she's good enough to do it there, I'm good enough to do it here at home, at work, right? We co-labor in these things. Do you even know how to cook, men? I'm just saying, it's an amazing thing to do. Are you willing to pick up the slack and do the things, because you're working together is a very powerful thing and you're going to get 3 times the results. That's God's promise. God bless you. Thanks for being here. Some nuggets for you if you're single, if you're dating, engaged, or if you're married. Seriously, empowering your wife, learning how to empower women, even while you're dating, while you're seeking a woman, is to learn about her dreams, is to support her in her dreams, but then is to believe that she too has what it takes and is a powerful woman, not to baby her or coddle her, but to believe in her, empower her, and to support her in a very powerful way. And go watch my video from last night. I posted it. So to hear more about that, because I go into details, different ways you can empower the women in your life. All right, let's go to these comments now. Let's see what we got here. God never ordained polygamous marriages anyway. Yep. Agreed. So King Solomon had how many? No, I agree. I know he did. Allow Solomon to have. Hey, look, no, look. I just think you're taking what David and Solomon did, and you're making that about that. That's what God wants. God allowed it. God allowed in his wisdom what he could have prevented with his power. And he did say to David, I'll even back you up in this, that David, he even said to David, when David slept with Bathsheba, it wasn't a sin that he slept with Bathsheba, another woman. It was a sin that he slept with another man's wife. That's very clear. So I'm not disagreeing with you about David and King Solomon. And he even said to David, God said this, that if you wanted another wife or concubine, I would have given them to you. I would have allowed you to have it. But this is where I think you need to go do a little more studying and researching. God definitely wants us and designed us to be a man of one wife. But I do believe it has to do with the power and belief and confidence of a woman. We've got this whole women's movement that took place and women's lib and women's voting and all that, which was necessary. But I do believe it needs to be balanced out. Go listen to my thing about empowering your wives from last night. Seriously. But again, it was necessary at the time. to have multiple wives. Okay, about populating, developing kingdoms, legacy, different world, but also God allowed it, but it's not what he wanted. I can prove that through scripture. So, anyways, God designed it to be Adam and Eve, one flesh, and that's it. He says it in his word, and then he re-says it many times. Okay, so anyways, we'll just leave it at that. We could do a deep dive into it and go through it, but hey, I respect your opinion. I really do. And I'm glad you're here. Would you subscribe to my channel? And we'll keep this conversation going. Let's see what he says here. All right, it says grandfather was a Christian, a 33rd degree Mason that knew Queen Elizabeth of England personally, catered her trip to Nigeria. That's impressive. You got some cool lineage there. Find a wife that's not westernized. All right, Amish wives are they? They're not westernized, are they? I call no man Kang. Okay, whatever. Kang better be able to fight me and win. Okay, whatever. Just showing this. Yeah. Anyways, obviously not very honoring to women, so I want to watch my future Latina baddie wife cut grass in a lawn chair. Yeah, but obviously this guy's not here to. Sorry, I posted his comments now. I thought he was actually being serious. He's not. All right, Mr. Steven, my friend. Welcome, Steve Miller. Glad you're here. Moment God overlooked and winked at sin, but he came and showed us a better way. Yes, God is faithful to show us a better way, and I do believe in being a man of one wife, being married to one woman. Yeah. Hi, Jike, whatever, Jike, Jason, or hi, welcome. Glad you're here. But again, I'm not going to take you serious because you're not looking to be serious, Mr. Ghost Samurai on YouTube. All right. And by the way, that whole thing about Adam and Eve is just one thing. There's so many other ways to prove that God intended us to be a man of one wife. He really did. Part of it's yoking and honoring, and that he does see woman as equal to man. He does. Are we supposed to love and defend our wives and as development and physiology? He developed testosterone to be able to protect our wives. Yes, absolutely. And fight. We shall fight. Let's go. See you at the Spartan race, right, Jesse? We'll see you at the Spartan race. Anyways, all right, man. God bless you. Have a great day. Chantel and I will be coming back on here shortly. We're trying to do it a little bit earlier. So have a great day. I'm going to jump off now, and we will get some feedback from a woman's perspective, right? It's good to have that. Good to hear that. So hopefully you'll join us again shortly and hear what a woman's perspective about where to find your spouse and how to do that whole process a little bit. We're going to get her perspective. God bless you. Thanks for joining me. Remember, like and subscribe. Follow us. God bless you. All right, Mr. Ghost Samurai. We'll see.